Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order at 7:06 p.m. If you can please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. Next on the agenda is roll call. Debbie, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Jeannie Barnes.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Here.
Trustee Denise Bryan.
Here.
Trustee McMahon.
Here.
Trustee Brett Porter.
Here.
Trustee Ed Allen.
Here.
Trustee Richard Whitmore.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum, so we will continue on with the meeting. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented by staff.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Richard Toker and a second by trustee Brent McWhorter to approve the agenda, to accept the agenda as presented by staff. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sound. Okay, motion carries. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the March 22nd, 2023 meeting. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 22nd, 2023 as presented by staff.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Denise Bryan and a second by trustee McManning to approve the minutes of March 22, 2023 as presented by staff. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sound. Okay, motion carries. Next on the agenda is audience business, and for audience business, please be noted that we do not make any decisions tonight. It's just to listen to you, and please present to the board. And you have 5 minutes, and come to the podium and present your name for the record. And we have a Jessica Snyder. You're going to, okay. We appreciate you being here. And if you ever do decide you want to address us, please feel free to, okay? All right. Okay, moving right along to announcements. Heather.
I have a few alternative departments. With regard to the board retreat, I had a majority, I had 5 people respond to me so far. I had a majority say they did not want to facilitate. So I wanted to ask you while you're all here, I do want you guys to respond to me because I'm going to have to try to find one for May 13th. So for those of you who did not respond to me, do you want a facilitator for your board retreat? Do you want me to just come up with an agenda and then add the items that you all have sent me to add?
Sounds like a plan.
Yes.
Please.
I don't think we need
We don't need a facilitator.
a facilitator. I think we
We need
can.
law enforcement. We won't need a facilitator.
We need law enforcement.
Okay, going with the majority on that one. If at that retreat, after that retreat, we decide we want another one, I can always find some. And I have received responses from some of you, so I'll be adding items for discussion to the agenda. Town cleanup and yard waste. We've been doing public outreach to remind the public and to let them know, and then remind them that this year those events are open to town residents only, inside the town of Mancos. So I just wanted to remind you all that you all made that decision. So we've been doing some public outreach, and Carrie will be monitoring maybe a couple. The first one may be a little bit rough, but just wanted to remind you all that was happening. So if you get feedback starting in May from your citizens, because yard waste starts in May, just remind them gently or refer them to town hall, and we will handle it. We have received a couple of agency contribution applications, so those will be on the April 26th agenda for you for the second round for 2023. And Jason and I will be out of town for the April 26th meeting. but I will, work it out with Jamie, that I'll call him on the phone. So I'll be attending just by telephone. We have received in excess of 30 applications, I believe, for the deputy court position. So we've kind of narrowed those down, and interviews for that are in progress. So
Good deal.
keep you posted on that. That's all I have.
All right, so, main thing is everybody knows that we're starting to get runoff. We haven't even come close to what our runoff is gonna be. But, we've cleared the river from all known obstacles from city limit to city limit. So, main thing is Terry and I are gonna be extremely busy until probably June. So, for the board, what we're gonna do is we will update Heather, and she'll get in touch with you guys. And what I need you to do as the elected officials is let citizens know kind of what we're doing, but let us handle the emergencies, if we want to call them emergencies, as they come up. But just know we've got it. And then I've got Jim Stratton's here tonight, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, but we're gonna have another high flow day tomorrow, and then the river's gonna go back down a little bit, and then we're gonna start picking back up again next week. But main thing is we're probably gonna close Cottonwood Park within the next 2 weeks. So we're gonna have to just shut that whole park down. It's just gonna start getting water, and I don't want people in that water for safety issues. So when that happens, we'll let Heather know, she'll let you guys know, and it'll be open back up when we can. So it's gonna be a swampy mess, or most likely. So, I don't know if the board has any questions for us on
I do.
river issues.
Go ahead, Cindy.
In terms of the flooding situation, how, like, do we need to be concerned about the sewer plant? The
No.
pond?
We're mitigating that. That's our main mitigation point, and at this point, we don't need to be worried about it.
Okay,
So, town infrastructure, is always first priority. And then citizens that are within the floodplain, they know if they're in the floodplain. We've got sandbags, we've got sand, it's posted. They can come get sandbags, and the sand's at Cottonwood Park, it can be filled, and they can, help mitigate their own property. But right now, we're worried about, roadways and town infrastructure. Our roadways shouldn't be an issue. Once we know our infrastructure is sound, then we can start helping citizens with their private property.
okay.
I have a question, Jason. So you mentioned that the sand is at Cottonwood sand. Does the citizens know that? Is that
There's
something?
signs posted around them.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, at bakery, TNG, the post office, to,
Front desk.
so, yeah.
Okay, so we can get the word out that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, and we're gonna, I think we've got a limited number, because obviously Dolores has more of an issue than we do. So we're gonna give citizens 20 bags, and then if they need more, they can come get more. But we're trying to really be cautious about our number, because we want to make sure that the resources we have are going to where they are needed, and not just stockpile.
Just curiosity, the river's rolling really good down by Cottonwood. Is the bridge down there okay? I mean, are we?
This Bruce Bridge?
Good. Okay, just,
All right, as far as our bridges go, you don't need to worry about anything on those. The main thing with our water flows is we have to keep the river clear of log jams,
mhm.
and that will keep us from having runoff issues. So, and it's, we're not gonna have a flood like the Mississippi Delta or even Arkansas, river basins. We're not gonna have any flooding like that. We're gonna have runoff issues where the water table comes up and it starts coming into the ditches. We may have a little bit of river bank breaches, but it's gonna be more in the low-lying area. The center of town, we're not gonna have so much of an issue. Some of the houses on Riverside may have water come up into their backyards, but it shouldn't affect their homes. They're high enough away from the river that the water table is not gonna come up into the crawl spaces. So, yeah, I mean, it's apples and oranges from the ward.
Yeah.
Justin, just out of curiosity, is the fire department or the marshal's office trained for swiftwater rescue, or what's the protocol for something like
The Mancos River is extremely hard to do any type of swift water.
Yeah.
And it's because of the overgrowth around it. Sure.
that? Okay.
So, essentially, if you want to get into the weeds, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds, it's picking your points for the rescue.
Mhm.
But our river's narrow enough, it's not like it's a really hard deep to rescue somebody from our river.
Anybody else have any questions?
I have one more announcement, I apologize.
Okay.
I wanted to let you all know that I have been talking to SGN. They're our engineer on call, so we have a contract with them. I have been talking with them about a water supply adequacy report or a memorandum or something for the town. Basically having them look at our usage, look at our current water rights, taking into account what we have already used. We have adequate water for what is in town, developed or not. If undeveloped properties in town get developed, we have adequate water for that. What we're looking at is in the future, if we annex, if we expand our borders, do we have enough water? So I have been talking to SGN about that, and they have given me a proposal and a bid. It'll take 6 weeks and it'll be about $17,000. We haven't spent hardly anything of the $250,000 so far. They have other projects, but those are special contracts. So I will probably be letting them know tomorrow unless you have an objection. I was going to let them know tomorrow and go ahead and start that process. We have done this in the past, but my concern is that I fear two things. Number one, extended drought. I don't know if that was taken into consideration when that last report was done, because there's no discussion in that last report about an extended drought. And my other concern is we may be seeing in the next couple of years some serious development, whether it's on with private partnerships or whatever. We were talking about workforce housing and that kind of thing. So I want to make sure that whatever we do, we have enough water. Like I said, not too concerned. Talked to her today and said, well, what if the vacant lot on west side of town, what if that gets purchased and developed? She's like, yeah, not to worry about that. What if we do something other? Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. We have water for what we have now. I just want to make sure that we have water for future development. So is there any objection to me giving her the go-ahead tomorrow, or would you like me to put this on the April 26th agenda for future discussion?
I have no objection.
I have no objection.
No objection.
Yeah, one of my things that I've seen a lot of communities do is, you want to develop and you want to be annexed, bring your own water. That's not uncommon. I mean, they have to, because we can't provide it, obviously, we're in that situation, or we wouldn't be doing that. So that's very common.
And we have that requirement now. If a property with water rights wants to annex it,
Well,
they have
even
to
properties
turn us-
that don't have, there's ways for them to buy the water. So I don't know.
And see, right
Mike-
now, we don't have that requirement. If they don't have water, they have to bring water. So I can.
Yeah, I mean, it's another study. I kind of cringe over them a lot because we spend a lot of money on things that, we pretty much already know. That's my only concern.
But this is with our on-call engineer, right? This is the one that we already have a contract with to do work like this.
To do this work, but it's not, it's basically retaining. We're not gonna pay him $250,000.
No, I understand that, but I don't know, I think it's a necessary thing at this time.
Richard, what do you think?
I'm kind of leaning with Ed. I mean, we should know what our water situation's like. But, I mean, water's the most expensive commodity that we have right now. So it's more important than land.
Cindy, did you have any comments?
Yeah, I agree with Ed and Richard. I think that, development coming into town should have adequate water rights to transfer to the town. It may be that we need to check with the state and get them transferred to M&I water. But I feel like if we don't have some kind of requirement for water, at some point, might not be this year, but at some point, we could very easily run out of water rights, which of course is just paper water, and we may for sure run out of actual water, wet water. So that's my thought.
Well, if I'm understanding you, so why can't we we want to grow, so why can't we see how much extra water we have? And if we don't, then we also then include, we don't want to limit our building, I think is what I'm trying to say. And then if we don't have extra, whatever progress building is going to happen, they need to know then that we don't have it. So I think the study is good just to know.
Like, what if we develop something for workforce housing in the future? We should know.
But we have that water. We are.
No, we're not asking if we have the water or not as a town, but we need to know what it can support at this point.
Yeah, but
And that's what I think the study is good for.
Do we know?
That's why I'm
Hasn't
thinking.
there already been a study and we know how many
But
households
just
we
said-
can supply right now?
Well, she's talking about outlining.
But she just said that study might have not taken into extended drought either.
Yeah,
Right, so it's an update.
So therefore, we need to probably update it.
and I think we need to update it, and I think she's also talking about,
But how do you plan for drought and how do you plan for winters like this? I mean, that's the thing. How do you plan
no,
for
but
that?
I don't know that you plan for it, but I think you have the knowledge of, okay, if we have, because we know we're in a drought. This year was great for water, but it isn't gonna touch what we got.
So I'm hearing some dissension, so I think maybe we ought to put it on the agenda. Let these guys think about it, let them do a little bit more research and bring it back onto the agenda in the 26th of April, and we'll discuss it at that time. So, okay, all right. Okay, any other announcements? And I just want to thank the Marshal's office for letting me borrow the megaphone. I did put new batteries in it, and they were kind of corroded, so you guys might want to
Take them out.
take them out so they don't corrode on you guys next time you have one. But thank you for letting me use it for that Easter egg hunt. Appreciate that. Okay, moving right along, we have the treasurer's report, March bills and claims. Anybody have any questions?
Oh, I just have one, for this large amount that we're spending to TKF contracting the water treatment plant. That, 51,000 some dollars, is that partial payment
That's the final payment accepting retainage for the water treatment plant, controls and duty installation.
yeah.
Not the tank.
right, this is just, it's,
For what,
Okay.
the work that they've been doing for the last.
It's final payment less the 5% retainage.
okay.
I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve bills and claims as presented.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Ed Hellam and a second by trustee Richard Tucker to accept the March bills and claims as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, motion carries. Next is the committee reports. Montezuma County Commissioner report. Gerald, you're up.
He's moving now.
Yeah. You're walking pretty good.
Yeah, back walking a little bit better. As far as your water issues goes, and I don't know how much information I can get from him. I was at Southwest this afternoon, all afternoon. Part of the presentation we had today was about all the municipalities in this whole area and their water rights, their appropriation dates, and how much water they actually had, and the situation that each one of these municipalities are in all across the whole Southwest. The guy that put that on, I might be able to get the information he has and get it to you. I could try to do that, see what he actually had as far as, and I don't know how much you guys know about your appropriation date and all that stuff in case there ever was a call on the river. He's got all that, so I can get that from him. And how much he basically, whether it's the rural water or whatever, he knows how much water everybody has in Jackson and whatever. Okay, so he's got all that information. Maybe enough to help you out as to what you actually got. And he's basically studying this whole deal. Not just the municipalities, but we had a report our last meeting on the amount of agriculture water in this whole area too, and how many acres there is that's being irrigated and everything. So he has a lot of that information that you're possibly looking for and may not have to spend a bunch of money to get it. Okay? But all this runoff, for all the things we were dealing with the Colorado River today, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Okay? I mean, there's some consequences to having this type of runoff, but it's just runoff. So, it's good. It's a really good thing because it's going to help with a lot of different situations down the country if we can keep them from squandering what we've got. And which may be a hard thing to do because they've already kept upping how much they're going to turn out of Lake Powell. Okay? Started out before all these storms started, we were only going to turn out a little over 7 million. Then it went up to 7.5. Now it's at 8.4. And they're talking about raising up more. So I'm hoping we can stop them from doing that, but I don't know. We don't have a lot of power. But all we can do is try and encourage them to keep them from squandering what we've got. Because we're going to gather up quite a bit this year. But other parts of the state do not have as much pack as we do here. Even up around Gunnison and in that area, they are questioning whether Blue Mesa will fill. So it's not everywhere. They're up north towards Steamboat, it's pretty good. They've got a pretty good snowpack, but in between here and there, we're not as great as we are down here. So there's a lot of difference across the state. And you go east, but you go over on the other side of Wolf Creek, there's not much there. So it's gonna be a tough year on some of them still.
They're less than 100% of their average.
Otherwise, Jim Spratton's here. He's our emergency manager. He's been dealing with the runoff across the road, cut out some roads. We've got a lot of red sign roads that were put in, but they haven't been put in with big enough culverts to handle what's coming down. And that's just like a private road. So if it's not green side, and we're not coming to fix it. That's their own deal in these
Too many
subdivisions.
people blame you guys. The county didn't take care of it. Well, it's a red road. People Not everyone knows that.
The other thing we talked about, which you responded with about water and my concern about whether there was water available for that lot out there by the Hokan. Actually, there was 2 taps there, so it is okay. But we're going to have our planning department start requiring a certificate that they can get water on that property. Okay? This, I don't know where that went away, because when I was a commissioner here before, we had that requirement. And I don't know what happened in between here, but they need to have, Colorado law requires it. And I don't know why they got away from that, but they need to have an absolute certificate that they can be furnished with water. We cannot do these divisions without that being there. I mean, we don't have any control over those 35 acres on up, but everything below that, unless there's a water tap available here for them, it's probably not going to happen that they can divide their property here in this valley. Okay, as long as they're under this water system.
I do, and just so the board knows, I know our planning commission knows, but just so our board knows, anytime we get a notice from the county planning commission for anything in our 1 or 3 mile sphere of influence, I always reply back to Sherry Jane Duncan and say, the town of Mancos water dock is not a guaranteed source of water. You cannot use this for your application.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
not,
what,
you can't use a water dock as a secure water supply. It's not.
Can I ask you a question then, at the county level, how many, are you still giving out, like, water, right,
Meters?
water taps to, if people can show that they have water, then you'll give them a water tap. Like, how many do you guys have?
We don't do the water taps, but,
Who does that?
well,
For the
Montezuma Water
Oh.
is
Montezuma Water, Mancos Rural Water.
Yeah.
There's multiple water districts.
Yeah.
and the
But
main,
don't
the
you
main
guys have-
area doesn't have enough water is right here. Okay?
Or you're saying here?
In Mancos, the surrounding area around Mancos. Mancos Rural Water, there's some areas where they can, I talked with the manager just yesterday. There's some areas here that taps are available in the rural water system, but it's not all over. Okay, there's a lot of areas here where their lines are way too small to put any more taps on.
Okay.
Okay, so they're gonna have to be in an area where he can supply some taps to. And I think there's a very limited number that can even be developed, period, in this valley.
Okay.
Okay, because they just do not have the line capacity to handle it in a lot of areas. So there's a moratorium on taps on those lines.
Okay.
But some areas, it's okay. I mean, there's a big enough line that they can issue some more taps, but it's a problem. Water's going to always be a problem here. I mean, the whole area. It's not something new. Okay, it's going to be an issue forever. You know, and you're gonna, and like you guys are, like Heather's talking about, you need to make sure what you got and what the appropriation dates and that stuff is, because they're going to continually come looking for this water. And there's 40 million people down that river, and they've got a lot more money than we do, and a lot more people, and a lot more votes. So it's a serious problem, and believe me, it's not going to be easy to solve the problems that are down there until the Bureau of Reclamation will actually shut things down. What people don't realize is we think like McPhee holds 280,000. Jim, do you know? What's the total capacity? 280 some thousand for McPhee.
McPhee. So we were at the highest capacity, 109 acre feet. And then when we added more to it.
Yeah, but total capacity is like 280 some thousand with the dead pool and everything. Well, when you look at those two, Powell and Lake Mead down there, there's a 500,000 acre feet of evaporation. That's almost like Colorado only used 3.4 or 5 million acre feet last year out of our 7.5 that we were supposed to have. We only used that much. Most of it was because there wasn't that much available in a lot of areas. But when you look, there's 500,000 acre feet that they don't have to be credited for that. We furnished that. Colorado has actually furnished that because we're supposed to furnish 7.5 million acre feet across at Lee's Ferry. That's what the contract says, what the law of the river says. Well, all of that evaporation, they turn their allocation, whether it's California, Arizona, or Nevada, they turn their allocation out at the head gate. There is no deduction for evaporation whatsoever. So, I mean, there's just a lot of issues that when this thing comes up again in 26, we're going to have to be on top of it, and we're going to have to make sure that we get somebody from this state, our attorney general or somebody that's going to stand up for us. Because if we don't, they're going to run right over top of us. It's just a fact. Actually, the problems Montezuma County has is very small comparatively. But, I mean, there's a lot of other issues going through the state legislature and stuff that we're dealing with too. And I'm sure you guys know about the land thing. And yeah, anyway, we're voting against it too, but we don't carry much weight, I don't think, down here. So, see what happens. But there's going to be a lot more runoff.
He mentioned the land use code. You guys understand what he's talking about? That did you guys see your emails on that? Or CMLers voting against that strongly? So,
Thank you for your signatures on that letter. That was sent to see if I can present to
Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you,
Gerald. Glad you're feeling better.
I'll send you an email tomorrow with some, just my questions. I'll send you an email tomorrow if that's okay.
I'm going to be at Southwest again in the morning until noon at the meeting.
No, not yet.
Okay.
so Jim, you're here. Do you have anything to say? Jim?
One more thing. And I don't know the details. I just got a call just before I got here a little ago. We are having some issues with the inlet canal coming into Jackson. And I don't know whether you guys have heard anything. Have you guys heard anything?
No, I'm watching it.
I don't know the details of it. All I know is one section of the floor and that concrete where it comes around the side of the hill is lifted up. Which I don't know why.
I think that's on the outlet canal.
Huh?
I think that was on the outlet canal, was it not?
According to what they told me, it was now.
Okay. The inlet's not showing anything right now online. Yeah, we shut it down. Did you? Yeah. So part of that is if we need to move water into the lake during the peak runoff, we've got room to put it in the lake and divert some of the water. That was part of that. There was discussion about that.
Gary will reach out to,
Gary and Wyatt.
Wyatt.
That's gonna take some getting used to. That'll take some getting used to.
All right.
Thank you, Carol.
Thanks, Gerald.
So the Montezuma County Planning Commission meeting is tomorrow night. And so I will be attending that meeting. And Heather does send the letters over when it is within our 1 and 3 mile, and I'm in attendance, and they always ask if she lets me know, and I also mentioned that they have to prove water, but they have watered not our water dock. So we do follow up and keep on track of those. Okay, so we'll move right along to our discussion and action items. Number 1 is the Arbor Day proclamation. So I will read this proclamation. This says celebrate Arbor Day. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our town increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, Queenie Bars, Mayor of the town of Mancos, Colorado, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 28th, 2023 as Arbor Day in the town of Mancos, Colorado, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Dated this April 12th, 2023, signed by Mayor Queenie Bars. Okay, moving right along is the Mancos Liquor license renewal. The Mancos Liquor LLC.
Yes, this Mancos Liquor renewing their liquor license. I'm asking the board to approve their renewal. They have not had any violations in the last 12 months, and the marshal's office has no objection to this.
I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the renewal of the 2023 Mancos Liquor LLC liquor license and authorize the town clerk to send an application to the Department of Revenue.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Dick Manning and a second by trustee Ed Hellam to approve the renewal of the 2023 Mancos Liquor LLC liquor license and authorize the town clerk to send the application to the Department of Revenue. Jamie, would you call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson,
Aye.
trustee Denise Bryan,
Aye.
trustee McManus,
Aye.
trustee Brent McCarter,
Aye.
trustee Ed Helm,
Aye.
trustee Richard Hoover.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving right along to the water treatment plant property easement request.
I'm gonna start this off, and then if you have any questions, either Terry or David can answer. Terry received the original request. Tim and I worked together. I ran it by David, and this was a collaborative effort, but we received a request from Turn Collier, and he was invited to.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
No, Turn had to be in for work. He had to go to Canada at one of the mines. So
Well, he
was
was
unable-
notified, you're invited
Yeah.
to attend.
He called me and told me he couldn't make it because of that.
Okay, so he is asking for an easement across our town water plant property, not the head gate, but our actual plant property, to the east. And we've kind of done some research. His request is in here, all of the information is in here, the maps are in here. We are recommending that you deny the request for the reasons that we outlined in this document. Just basically concerns about giving an easement across a critical piece of infrastructure property. We don't know what we're gonna need to do with that property in the future. That's the biggest concern that we have. There's also other infrastructure over there by other entities such as Mancos Rural Water. We don't know how it will affect that or their possible need for growth to provide water to citizens. So that's the simplified version of this. We're open to questions or comments, or if you need additional information.
Do they have any questions?
Well, yeah, I looked at this and, you know,
I see what his request was. I don't understand why he just couldn't come down to county easement, the road easement, because I mean, what he's asking for, you know, in his drawing is he's not trying to cut through, you know, basically the entrance gate. But we do own all the property down below that feeds, you know, the blue line on his drawing, which is a proposed pipeline. I've got mixed feelings about it. You know, the biggest thing is it doesn't look like it's going to interfere with anything if it was up along the road, not in our area, because we would never develop in the road or along that road easement. So, you know, that was a thing that when I looked at it, I said, why isn't he trying to just move it up a little bit and not interfere with our property? But understanding that we own all the property, you know, to the east of that, you know, cutting through, you know, that open area, you know, not open area, but that undeveloped area. I know that we have our water line that feeds these ponds come through there in Mancos Rural. Now, Mancos Rural apparently has an easement. So we already have one easement in there. So it's kind of, we've set a precedence by letting someone go through there and to tell someone else, no, we don't want you to have an easement through there because we don't let easements go through, but we granted someone else one. That's the only thing that I see as an issue. I think it's kind of a crazy idea, but to me, my only thought is if he went down the county easement, you know, or the county road through the critical area would be, you know, the only thing that I would say is, you know, where he wants it, if he was further towards on the, you know, it wouldn't interfere with us that much, or at all.
I'm wondering if you can't go down the county road because we have infrastructure coming.
Well, I'm talking about just in front of our sewer ponds. You know, of course, he can't go down the county road and pick up the bottom of that ditch.
He'd be trying to go over our existing infrastructure. You need to cut something over our existing infrastructure that runs like north-south almost.
Well, it's a pipe. We have a pipe that feeds, correct? That's the only thing we have is a pipe that feeds from Jackson Lake to here. So that's one crossing.
So he would have to cross that plus whatever Mancos Rural has.
And they have one too, and you know, that crossing. I'm just saying, you know, I don't know. You know, it's a board decision, but I didn't. You know, I personally don't see it as critical as to just shut it down without. I don't even know if he can do it. You know, because it seems to me that's a hell of a lot of piping to get all the way down there. But our biggest thing is not so much to me the concern at the sewer plant, because he's only crossing our road, not anything that we would develop anyway. But from there going to where he wants to get, you know, the source of the water, that's where the more critical part is. You know, he's going to have to cut through a whole bunch of our property for that.
And he's gonna have to cut under 42 under the roads down.
No, that's already there. The red is a pre-existing ditch. No, that's a pre-existing ditch. The red, you know, all we're worried about is the blue. And like I say, you know, the only critical part for us is where he crosses our road and whether or not we want to allow him to cut a pipeline through that, you know, I'm going to call it virgin ground, you know, that canyon.
Where does our line come in, Terry? Can you show us on a map or on this
Comes
map?
right here. And then Mancos Rural, our water line comes right in here.
Right where the road is?
Yeah, right off the road.
Right off the road.
It's not right down the middle of the road. Through our entrance, but it
Okay,
comes
Okay.
right
all
there.
right. And Mancos Rural Water, where do they cut?
It comes in, I think Mancos Rural Water is somewhere further east. Yeah, they're close, but they're east of our water line. Because
Okay,
we get our Jackson Lake water comes down and feeds the plant.
Okay, so it's right here.
Yeah, they're real close.
Okay. That's
You know, like I say, the biggest concern is, to me, is not the crossing of our pipes. It's us allowing him to cut from there all the way to where the water, you know, I'll call it the headlands, where he wants to pull water from.
And how far, I was questioning how far
It's 350 yards.
to our property line?
No,
No, but what I'm
this is all
wondering,
property of ours.
okay, this is all our property?
It's all our property, yeah. All the blue is on our property.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
with the exception of a little piece that's
Yeah, that's on
sand
mine
right there.
okay, all right. That's what I wondered.
Where's it gonna get the water line?
From the bottom of the ditch right here. This is the bottom of the canyon. So he wants to just pick it up here, because historically, the Oakle ditch has been here since 1912. But the town used to waste water from the original sewer, water treatment plants, used to dump into the Oakle ditch. No, but that's what used to happen, and that was partly what allowed this Ogle ditch to provide water to these areas down below. There was 2 or 3 property owners that utilized that water from the Ogle ditch. When, back in the day, the treatment plant used to be a little bit below this first pond, and like I said, it dumped. That was how they did it. That water dumped into the ditch, and it was wastewater for the town, and the Ogle ditch picked it up, and the downstream users got to use it.
And legally, we're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, we can't do that, no.
Right.
Yeah, so, no, and that's not the issue, but the water that he has some rights to, the water that comes down that draw, that right now just comes down the draw and gets wasted out below and drops through that subdivision, ends up on Yeoman's property, or, the Robbins Ranch. It just runs down and wastes out there. It's unutilized water, and he's just looking for a way to utilize that water, capture it and utilize it again, basically, for some fields down below.
Because it's not on the abandoned list, that water, it's still adjudicated to that ditch,
No.
so.
Yeah, he's just asking, from what I could read, is he's asking for, either to say, yeah, we'll consider it and let him pursue, look into, actually doing this, or if we shut him down now, then just, it's done. So it's more of, a situation where he's got to, if we say, yeah, we'll work, we might be able to work with you on this, and then he can go in and see how much it's going to cost him, and he might find out that cost to do that might be not worth it. But, he said the first hurdle he had to clear was getting, our approval to come across, the sewer ponds. I mean, sewer, I keep saying sewer. The water treatment pond.
Can't we go down the road here?
Well,
We still have to go
that's
across
what
our
we're
property.
asking you all. Do you want to allow a private easement? That's what we need from you guys.
Yeah.
No,
One thing, I just caution, be careful with, is, if the town does need to expand something there, and we give them an easement, then we ought to be responsible for, either not impacting it, or, paying to move their stuff. If you need to, access that property, they either with that easement, and so, a couple things, you might want the town's engineers to take a look at this and see if it's likely to, harm the town, because the town would do that. And then the other thing I was thinking is, if, rather than a permanent easement, if you are considering maybe granting them something, give them a local license.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what would make more sense for us. Yeah, say that, it's utilized until such time we need to utilize that land. And that might be something that he doesn't want, might say, forget it. I think he's just doing exploratory from what I understand.
But that's the town infrastructure. Once we set a precedence of a private individual, where does it stop?
Well,
I don't personally like the idea of using or allowing a private person to use our property that's vital infrastructure for the entire town.
If it was a county or a large water company that needed access or something, that they could go in and fix that at a moment's notice if it went south.
I don't even think it's feasible in the current route. I really don't like how close the line cuts towards our ponds either on there. So I can foresee this being a headache and a half for us as a town. And for it to be a private entity, it's a big difference between like rural water, who supplies water to hundreds of residents of the valley here, versus one person who's trying to hay some fields. So I'm against this.
What are you guys feeling? Do you have some questions, or do you want more time to research? Do you want?
No, I'm against it. I I think we just had a conversation about potentially running out of water. And these are clearly measures. I mean, to me, I see him, he's trying to figure out how to get water to his land. Well, every citizen's going to be trying to do that at some point. I think it just sets a weird precedent. So I'm against it.
I agree with, like what Brett has said and what Nick has said. I just think it's a bad idea to set precedent and, kind of follow what the attorney says, I think is a good way to go. And I think I would like to deny this request.
I just want to make sure, because has not been abandoned, and the water is adjudicated to him, that, because he did mention in his article that in the 1990s, changes were made at the town's water reservoirs, which reduced and eventually eliminated the flow of the water to the ditch. I want to make sure that everything that the town did was legal when we did those things, because if we moved our lines or took or fixed it so he couldn't get his water, then we're doing something wrong. And that's why I just maybe would like a little bit more research on this, because he has stated these things, that water was used previously. It did run down there. There's a recorded decree that water belongs to that ditch. It's not abandoned. The changes were made in the 1990s by the town, and I just want to make sure that we made the legal changes. And that's my question before we say yes or no, because he could take us to court over that water actually being deeded and adjudicated to him, to that ditch. So
I would.
May I speak?
Yes, ma'am.
I also echo what Brett said and what's in the staff report. I agree with all three items that staff is stating. Plus a fourth, and that is the security of the town's water supply. Kind of echoing what Brent said about the, Mancos Rural Water is a totally different kind of situation than a private citizen. And when someone has an easement, they're allowed to knock down anything that's interfering with their easement. They could knock down our fence where it crosses the easement. They could knock down whatever they want. They could dig up our driveway. They could do all kinds of things. And I think if we proceed from here in exploring this, I think we need to be really careful. I also agree with Queenie. We got to make sure we did everything legit, but I think that as technologies get better, we waste less water. And so, okay, so we don't have wastewater anymore. We ran into some of those issues with our headgate overflow as well. And so, it seems like some of that research is probably already done. It's kind of the same kind of situation where we just aren't wasting water anymore.
Well,
so anyway, thank you.
And I agree with, everybody about private individual having access and easements on our property. I just want to make sure that when we made those changes, that the town is protected, that he can't come back and say, well, you guys blocked my water or whatever, because then that water is adjudicated to him, to that ditch.
Well,
And he has legal right to that water from up above. He's trying to figure out a way to get it to his property, and that's going to be his problem, but he does have the right to that water.
Well, and David.
Yeah, you can also go through the county road.
Right.
And David pointed out, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to point out that, so his water, right, the source of his water is seepage and waste from the reservoir of the town. So, basically his water right is contingent on the town wasting water. And so you can't, somebody has a waste, it's called wastewater right. Somebody has a wastewater right, they can't make somebody
Wastewater.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm not worried about, that's the
just
only thing
adjudication.
Okay.
to him is not wastewater, he wouldn't have it for him.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
makes sense. Thanks.
I move we deny the request from Turn Collier for the easement at the water treatment plant property.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Grant McWhirter and a second by trustee Nick Manning and Janice Bryant to deny the request from Turn Collier for an easement on the water treatment plant property. Jenny, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson,
Aye.
trustee Denise Bryan.
Aye.
Trustee McMahon.
Aye.
Trustee Brent Ritter.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Hallam.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Johnson.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving right along to the water treatment plant, phase 1 engineering recommendation, the wastewater treatment plant.
Again, something else that Terry and I have been working on in conjunction with Kyle and Brad Eaton, our consultant for this project. We are at the point where we can start repairs to the headworks of the wastewater treatment plant. The board has authorized the town to work with Brad Eaton, who was our expert consultant on this project, starting in 2018. He is going to be our, what we call our owner's rep for the project. He's going to help make sure that the engineers and contractors are making these repairs following the concept of repair that has been developed since 2018 for this project. We, with Brad's help basically, and Terry and Kyle, published an RFP, sent it to 3 companies with expertise in wastewater treatment, design, and construction, and received those proposals back. We met as a group. Terry, Kyle, Brad, and myself met as a group to review and basically grade the proposals. All of that information has been included here for you. The RFP has been included. There were a couple of changes and questions and addendums. Those were included. The summary of the scoring for the 3 responses has been included, and all 3 responses in total have been included here for you. I let you know phase 1 includes the installation of core screening, moving the grid classifier to a different location, constructing the building to house the new screening and the grid classifier, reviewing the existing ground screens to ensure that the changes that the guys made are adequate and we don't need any more changes there. There will be a review of that. We will be installing some temporary port plugs in the MSABP system, and then we'll be doing the cost benefit of life cycle analysis to see if we do we stay with the current MSABP system, which is the middle part when you walk outside the plant after the headworks not flat, or do we want to consider alternate forms of treatment? Regardless of what happens with the treatment, the changes in phase 1 are going to be required. So we will not be wasting money. The only piece of it that may be changed are those port plugs, and those are very, very small. Maybe $10,000 portion of what's going to be a several $million project.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to answer any questions, knowing that if you get too technical, I'm going to have to ask Terry to step in, or if there's anything that we can't answer and you are uncomfortable, I can move this to another agenda and ask Brad to call in. He is going to be doing all of this for us remotely because we travel costs. So I think we're incredibly comfortable with Brad's leadership and the group's review and recommendation. So we are comfortable with our recommendation to you. I don't know if Terry has anything to add. And if you have any questions about what phase 1 includes, I'm happy to go into more detail.
Phase 1, this is just for the engineering
portion, this has nothing to do with the construction. This is just so that we can go out for bid for construction, correct?
Correct, this is design, engineering, permitting with the state, because we do have to go to CDPHE for permission.
Okay.
And then, I don't believe that it is, construction management, I think that,
No.
Brad can help us with that piece. But this is design and engineering, we need to get to 90% design before we can go out to bid.
Yes, and this is $200,000 before we even start any construction. I just want to make sure everyone understands that, because, you know, in reading through it, you know, and I totally agree with the choice, was this, that, you know, you're going, holy crap, you know, we're spending $200,000 before we even break ground.
Before we pour
And it
concrete.
does include the testing, we're gonna need to do some required testing again in order to design appropriately, just to make sure that we're going in the right direction. Yes, unfortunately, we are spending.
Well-
And we have that in cash, based on some past projects that we've done, that I've finished. So I do think that we may potentially need money for construction, but I won't know that until we close.
Well, we've got to get this part done.
Right.
Yeah, we have to take the first baby step. Because this is the smallest portion of dollars we're going to spend. It's the baby step.
You guys last year approved the purchase of some 2 millimeter drum screens. Right now, I don't know if you remember from your tour, but the drum screens are the ones that, there's 2 of them. And they were 1 millimeter, and they were overflowing all the time, so the guys would walk in and have to clean up a mess. Terry and his crew are amazing. They ordered and installed 2 millimeter drum screens themselves, and those messes have stopped. It has not mitigated anything else. This is still necessary.
Yeah.
But walking in the morning and having
Yeah.
overflow running out the garage door has stopped. So,
Good.
yeah. And I know that they're still having to do so much extra work and because we're still operating 2 plants, we're paying bills for 2 plants, the guys are having to work for 2 plants, they're having to maintain. So Terry is right, we need to jump on this.
Definitely.
We're gonna put some money out now, but hopefully over time, we won't be running 2 plants, and we'll save some costs.
Well, it's got to be done regardless.
Any other comments?
No, this, reading through this, it's, you know, pretty technical engineering, but yet you can follow it enough that a normal non-engineer brain could. And, so I think it's worth moving forward. SMG is great as anybody else, so I think you guys made a great choice. That's what you did.
Richard, do you have any questions?
No, we knew this phase was coming.
Yep.
And it's one of those things, it's why we did the things in the future, so we could do this.
I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the town administrator to enter into a contract with SGM for wastewater treatment facility phase 1 repairs in the amount not to exceed $202,000.
I'll second that.
Here we have a motion by trustee Richard Toker and a second by trustee Ed Allen to authorize the town administrator to enter into contract with SGM for wastewater treatment facility phase 1 repairs in an amount not to exceed $202,000. Jamie, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson,
Aye.
trustee Denise Bryan,
Aye.
trustee Nick Mooney,
Aye.
trustee Brenda Blair,
Aye.
trustee Ed Howe,
Aye.
trustee Richard Tucker.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving right along to the comprehensive plan update review, chapters 5 and 6.
Oh, sorry, waiting for me. So the planning commission is reviewing the comp plan chapter by chapter. And then when they finish those, they're starting to come to you all for review chapter by chapter. You have reviewed chapters 2 through 4, and your changes will be incorporated in the final draft. These are chapters 5 and 6 for your review. So we're looking for some feedback, Jason and I, on this project. And then you had said like chapter 3, you had some concerns, so that's come back to P&D once they review it. So I don't know if you have any comments or questions or formatting or punctuation. If you have formatting and punctuation, send that to the start meeting, but if you have any other comments or questions or changes or suggestions, please let us know.
Cindy, did you have anything on the comprehensive plan?
I feel like I might have caught a few typos. I don't recall having any like major issues with the substance of it. But I just realized I have the unedited version of it open on my computer, so I don't have the notes that I wrote. So yeah, and I can let staff know if I did find any. I'll pull it up after the meeting and let them know if I found any typos. But I think overall it was really well done.
Yes. Yeah.
They've done a good job.
Jason's done a phenomenal job on this.
Yes. Richard?
So on 5.3.2, the raw water goal and stuff,
Yeah, that was.
do they have anything in there, what we've been talking about with Gerald, making sure that the water is available for the location and stuff like that? Yeah, it's to strengthen and protect Mancos rural water supply and delivery system actions.
These are things that we do, but yes, seeking cooperative relationships and that kind of thing.
And making sure available water is available in
That-
development. Because don't we go outside that town a little bit with the water?
Well, the high impact area, the Mancos water source,
Right.
which is,
Jackson.
well, not Jackson, it's the river, the West Mancos, it's Crystal Creek, Bob Creek, all of those creeks up there. That's one of those things that right now, is it not Mancos Conservancy District working on that? Just the whole watershed protection. Conservation District. Yeah, they're working on that through various agencies to help identify and
strengthen ours.
Well, ours is part of it, because they're looking at the whole region.
Okay.
It does, one of the bullet points is to protect all water rights owned by the town.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things,
Okay.
and to investigate options to acquire additional water
Okay.
rights.
I was just reading through it. I didn't.
And we do, Richard, just so you know, as part of the budget, we share an intern with the conservation district so that they do work on our behalf.
Okay.
Because they're honestly the experts in water. They know more about water than all of them.
Right.
Remember, they've forgotten more than all of them, kind of thing. So we do work with them. We
Okay.
share an intern with them. And then we collaborate pretty closely.
Okay. Although talk about water tonight and stuff makes you think.
And just so you all know, we're talking about water. One of the things that I'm going to ask Gerald tomorrow is, what are these water meetings that he's attending, and how do I get on them? And we'll figure it out.
Send somebody to them anyway.
Well, the Southwest Water, what they're working on now, is the whole process with the Colorado Compact,
Right.
which far greater.
Attend those meetings?
Do I? No. I wish I could, but no, they're no, but because I sit on the Mancos Water Conservancy District, and plus it's been in my life, water. I've spent a lot of time investigating and reading and going to other meetings that involve the Colorado Compact, because what Gerald was saying was right, and it's a very elongated process to discuss, but like he's talking about, they're letting out 7.5, we're obligated to give 8.4 million acre feet over a 10-year period, which comes out 8.4 a year. Historically, at Lee's Ferry, which is the faucet, the point from upper to lower district, we've been delivering almost 9 to 9.5 million on average, and that's one of the crux right now, is the fact that the downstream user is saying, you've set precedents, you've been giving it to us, now you have to continue that process, which is and he's very right about the evaporation, but the downstream loses through Lake Mead more evaporation than Lake Powell does. So we both have, he's saying we don't count for what we lose. They don't they lose more than we do. So that's that's a point that a lot of people are saying aren't arguable because they lose it, we lose it. That's kind of a wash. But it's a hugely complex thing that, I mean, we've all watched Lake Powell. I'm a Lake Powell fanatic, and I just watch it go down all the time. It's killing me, but it's one of those things that I think is just poor management and gluttony. They're just wanting more water than what their allotment is, and foolishly we have granted it. Yeah.
Yeah, we get somebody on there.
Water meetings, I mean, they're once a week somewhere here, there, and everywhere. It's just phenomenal how many there are.
So does anybody have any changes or anything to send back to the, Cindy, you have your typos, you can let Heather know of those.
Yeah.
Or email them to her.
I think they've been, I mean, the P&Z's been going over this page by page by page and very diligently. They've been working hard on it. So.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay, next on the agenda is the Town of Mancos Financial Policies Update.
So I've been, for the last 2 years, looking at this, it's kind of out the radar. I have been reaching out to auditor. I know it's their busy season, so to run our investment and new investment policies by him. The rest of the document is fine. I have not heard back from him, but I'm pretty confident in the language. I did adopt this from a larger city that I'm very comfortable with. And I did go through, they called out some statutory mechanisms, so I went through those. So I wanted to ask you to adopt these without waiting unless you want to wait. Right now, though, if you wait, and it doesn't really affect staff too much, if you wait, then the purchasing levels don't go into effect. I don't really have a problem with that, but I do know it's a project that we discussed, that we talked about, so I wanted to let you know if you're inclined to adopt. I'm comfortable with the language in the investment policies, with the rating requirements, with the best practices, complying with statute and that kind of thing. I would also say, even though we don't put it in our policies, kind of reiterate what we talked about in the workshop, and that is nobody here is a professional investment manager. When the town is ready to invest, we are going to put out an RFP and have our money. We are not going, right now, all of our money is at Dolores State Bank. We are not going to be taking it upon ourselves, JD or myself, or Queenie or Cindy, because they have to sign off as well, are not going to be taking money and investing it in cryptocurrency or whatever it is. So if you're comfortable, I'm asking that you adopt these. If you are not, it is by no means an emergency, and I can wait until after audit season, probably sometime in July or August, to run these back through our auditor and see if he has any comments. It's up to you guys. I just didn't want you to drop off altogether and.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, for me, we've talked about it a couple times at least. I feel comfortable. Yeah.
Richard, anybody?
I don't see any need why we would have to wait.
Cindy, do you have any comments?
Kind of beat this thing.
I don't think we have to wait. We've all looked at these. They seem pretty legit. And I think that if we pass them now, it's going to make certain things easier for staff to process. And if the auditor comes back with something, we can change it, based on the auditor's input.
Absolutely.
The only thing is just, I'm going to be like the P&Z, the measurements, like when your policies, you'll have one and you'll have a big gap, and then they stay pretty even, and then next one is real close to the number. It's just the formatting. Just look at that a little bit.
Yeah, once the red lines are accepted, I'll go through for formatting and fonts and margins.
Yeah. That's the only thing, just make sure it's all the same. So, do you need a motion on this?
I would like a motion and
I move we approve, we adopt the updated town of Mancos financial policies.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Brett McWhirter and a second by trustee Nick Manning to adopt the updated town of Mancos financial policies. Jamie, would you call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson,
Aye.
trustee Denise Ryan. Aye. Trustee McManus.
Aye.
Trustee Brent McWhirter.
Aye.
Trustee Ann Hallam.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Pepper.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving right along to the 2023 first quarter work plan and financial update. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Is some of this is what we'll talk about at the retreat, is this, and so we're gonna be kind of working off this?
No, this
No,
is,
this
this
is-
is the 2023 work plan that you all
We've already
saw.
adopted
Yeah,
this.
talk about 2024.
Oh, I see, next, the retreat, we're going past this.
Right.
2024.
Big picture.
Yes.
Yes, I will be bringing a 5-year capital plan to you all and saying, tell me what, yes. Tell me what we missed, tell me how to reorganize, but you know, that kind of
Okay.
or think about for the next 5 years, what do you guys want to see?
This
That's
is,
what we'll be doing.
this is a 5-day staff retreat, right? Shut up, Nick.
As long as we can go somewhere and do something.
Mancos, Peru, remember? We said it last time.
Oh, that's right.
Mancos, Peru.
Not a house, but I'll lay it out.
Not enough water.
So there's not even a motion for anything.
No.
necessary. I just-
Looks
anybody have any
It looks, everybody's really busy.
Yeah, good luck.
Woo!
Cindy,
I do want to say, this staff, you guys have an amazing staff. They handle everything. I was caught up in less than a day when I came back from vacation.
So amazing.
They took care of everything.
That's just not right.
They
You should have
are
suffered.
absolutely, I can't tell you
So,
how they.
lesson learned, do not get the Wi-Fi package for Belmont.
I'm going on vacation tomorrow. No, but I do want to say, they were absolutely amazing. Every single person stepped up.
That's great.
The department heads handled it. I had nothing urgent when I came back. It was all my stuff.
That's so great.
So
Good.
they were awesome.
I'm hearing lots of compliments around town about our staff, so I don't know if you guys are hearing it or not, but I'm getting a lot of people commenting, so.
I also received a compliment from a visitor who came through town. Just loved the town, loved the businesses, called out a couple of the businesses. So I shared that with Jason as our economic development person, and I shared it with the chamber to pass along to those businesses. So I thought that was nice, and I did reply and thank him for speaking up. But yeah, very good news.
Okay, so then moving right along, the Affordable Housing Trustee Liaison.
I'll make a motion.
So, yeah, this, as you all know, is a vast item. And, things are changing fast and furious. Grant opportunities are coming and going, legislation is coming and being passed. Then they're trying to figure out the rules after the fact. And, there is one person, who is taking the lead on it, but it is, if I could hire 3 more people just for this, that would be the recommendation, because it's kind of like water. It just grows and creeps and grows and creeps. And Denise has very kindly agreed to attend a housing seminar with Jason Sunday, Monday, I believe, Sunday, Monday, maybe Tuesday. So I had reached out to you all and said, hey, who's interested? Janice is the first one that responded. And
You win.
You win.
If you all agree that she has agreed to work with staff. And it would be kind of like we set up for the planning commission or for TPR, or we would work with her, and between her and Jason and myself, kind of virtually until action is necessary. She would assist us and then keep you all posted with what we're doing. Because I will be super honest, I don't always remember, oh, I need to read this piece of legislation or I need to. I'm doing a million other things that I know Jason is also, and even though he's taking the lead on housing, he just desperately needs another body. And Janice very kindly agreed to be our liaison to you all, so.
It's something I'm really interested in. We know there is such a need for it. I feel like I have, like time to put towards this, and I think moving forward, I can kind of let you guys all know kind of what I'm learning, and sometimes my mantra is, yeah, I got more courage than knowledge, but this is going to be one of those things, I'll just jump in and let you all know what I'm learning.
Thank you for
Thank you.
taking it on. And I don't know if you guys did know, the Conservancy District broke ground on their building. So they're
The conservation.
Conservation District on their duplex. And so we attended, and it was very, very nicely done. Stayed afterwards and had coffee and cookies, and there was a lot of questions asked. And it's been, been through the town, through the DOLA grant, but a lot of people were interested, so it was great that that was broken and things were happening down there to drive by. So
So is that housing, is that development going over by me? Is that gonna be affordable housing too, Heather?
One unit will be reserved for affordable housing.
That's kind of the agreement you had with them.
Cindy, you have something?
Just to say thank you to Denise for volunteering her time for this. I think it's neat.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay. So then moving right along to item K.
We need
I
a,
do think we need a motion just because generally trustees don't work directly with staff and she's gonna be working.
Okay, all right. So I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town administration to work with trustee Janice Bryant with regard to attainable housing opportunities in the town limits.
Second.
Second.
And we have a motion by trustee Richard Toker and a second by trustees Nick Manning and Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson to authorize the town administrator to work with trustee Janice Bryant with regard to attainable housing opportunities in the town limits. Jamie, would you call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson,
Aye.
trustee Denise Bryan,
Aye.
trustee Nick Manning.
Aye.
Trustee Brett McGuire.
Aye.
Trustee Ted Holland,
Aye.
trustee Richard Tucker.
Aye. And thank you for doing that.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving right along to item K, the items for the April 26, 2023 agenda. We have a public hearing for the Mancos Commons lot consolidation. We have the Town of Mancos Source Water Protection Plan adoption. We have the Comprehensive Plan Review Update, Chapter 7, and adopt the updated 5-year capital plan.
I also have the water supply memo and development discussion. David and I will be talking, one of the things that I want him to kind of research for me from a legal standpoint that I will include in this water supply adequacy discussion are what are our legal obligations with regard to development? Can we legally deny development? And if we can, how? And if we can't, we need to know that. So I'll be bringing legal information as well as providing you with information for this year. Is there anything else you want me to research for that?
No, but I have a question. We just discussed, and Janice brought it up, was, the capital plan, we're gonna discuss this at the retreat, and here we are adopting it before we go to the retreat. Part of it, for the updated capital plan.
Yeah.
Good catch it.
You're right. I'll move that.
Okay, yeah, I'm just saying, wait a minute, we're gonna approve it, then we're gonna have a retreat? Maybe we're not we're gonna have fun at the retreat instead.
Not at the community center.
And I'll be gone next week, or for that meeting.
And Heather, Could you email us the dates that Todd, that's the superintendent McCudry talked about these meetings coming up that they wanted some support for?
I have a note to email you regarding the Education Solutions Task Force. I'm going to email that all to you, and I'm going to get more than 3 of you, which is let me know. Are you all interested in the safety and security advisory, or do you want staff to have that one up and bring you all information?
They're the experts as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
So we'll work it out on staff on that particular, but I will email you. It's the Education Solutions Task Force, May 4th.
Okay.
From 4:30 to 5:30. I will email that to you also if you want to put it on your calendar.
Yeah.
Actually, what I'll do is I'll email you a calendar request. If you want to attend, click accept. If you don't want to attend, click deny, and then let me know if you're going.
Okay.
Great.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Thank you.
I have a request for an item for the next agenda. And that is, we frequently hear the updates on, the county commissioner update and then the county planning commission, but I feel like we're missing out on the Mancos planning commission. So I'm wondering if we could get a little rundown of like, what did they approve? What did they deny? What did they talk about? I think that would be really good because I feel like I'm more in touch with what the county's doing than our own P&Z. So I'm wondering, since we have liaisons there on a regular basis, maybe we could also add that to our committee reports.
Okay, and Cindy, that's a good idea, but right now they're basically working on the comprehensive plan update review unless they have something that comes across for review, but they haven't had any of that. So Nick and I would let you know if there was something that they were discussing, because we had talked about that as the liaisons, that we would update you guys on that. Right now, they're just doing the comprehensive plan review. Okay?
But I like the idea of adding it.
Right.
So that we know to come back to it.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, Cindy.
Well, and you know what I'll do? I tried for a while. I tried to remember when each committee was meeting and only put them on the relevant agenda. The problem is, I don't always know when Region 9 is. I don't always know when DBR is. I don't know when they schedule a special meeting. The organizations that I'm not seeing.
TPR's tomorrow.
I will add the Mancos Planning Commission update to the next agenda, and that's why you see all of the committee reports on every agenda. So feel free to say no report, because it doesn't apply to that meeting, but I will get the Mancos Planning Commission on there as well, starting at the next meeting.
It's helpful to have them on there. We can say, there was no meeting, just as easy, but as long as it reminds us, it's a good idea.
Yeah, because I'm not aware, like, if the county planning commission, I don't know if they cancel it, if they move it, if they have special, I don't get those notices, so I'll just put all the committee reports on every agenda, and then you guys can say no report.
Right.
No report, that's the easy thing to say.
No report.
And then just before we do adjournment, I think you all have heard that we lost Betsy. And so just keep her family in our thoughts and prayers. And
I did not know that.
yes.
So thank you.
And she was an asset to our community. She will be greatly, greatly missed. So just remember them. Okay, last on the agenda is the adjournment.
So moved.
That was the fast one right there. Everybody else stares at each other.
Can hardly get him to talk all night, so we'll turn on.